Well, the World Series gets underway tonight with the Kansas City Royals taking on the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Royals face long odds to get to the championship, but even though they're facing a team that has won the series twice in the past 4 years, our next guest thinks their future looks pretty bright. Tom Valcke is the general manager and the head coach of the iCase Baseball Academy in Stratford, Ontario. He is our guy on baseball, and he joins us on the line. Tom, how are you?
Can't be any better, Stephen. I don't have chili like you've got set for tonight, but I've got fast food coming in. I'll have the best seat. It's rainy, it's dreary and cold here in Southern Ontario, so there's nothing to do but get your players, park yourself in front of the TV, and watch some playoff baseball.
Now, the last time we talked about this, you talked about the Royals going all the way.
Well, I wish.
Or getting
they're
this...
an exciting team, but I don't think anybody outside of Missouri had any hopes these guys would go this far. But have they been a pleasure to watch? I mean, they struggled just to get into the playoffs. They were losing late in the game in that wild card affair against Oakland. They came back to win, and they've been on a Cinderella run ever since, beating the best team in baseball, the Los Angeles Angels, 3-0. And then they topped that by producing a 4-game sweep of Baltimore, an Oriole team that just hit home runs all year and seemed like the team of destiny this year. So who knows what Kansas City's ceiling's going to be.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting you predicted they would go all the way, but I think you were secretly hoping for it.
You have to. I mean, they're such a pleasure to watch. You can't leave your TV. You never know when they're going to swipe a base when most teams wouldn't take that chance. You never know when they're going to land in the crowd and the fans are going to catch the player who dove in and the umpire is going to run to the side and say, yes, he caught it, he's out, and the place will go wild. You never know when they're going to pull a suicide squeeze. They're just a really dynamic young team that's getting a lot out of the max out of the minimum, I'll put it that way.
And how did they do that? I mean, they went in as such underdogs. How did they get as far as they did?
Well, Stephen, speed does not slump, and Kansas City has tremendous team speed. Look at the Orioles that we just mentioned. They lived on the home run this year, and it turned out they fell on that same sword because power can go into a slump in the playoffs, and suddenly when your team doesn't hit a home run for several innings in a row, now you got guys squeezing the bat. Now you got guys trying to swing harder. Now you got guys changing their stance. Whereas if you're feeling playoff pressure, it doesn't make you run any slower. So look at Kansas City, 13 stolen bases already in the playoffs. That matches the total of all other 7 teams who are in the postseason. 13 infield hits. That means they hit the ball. It did not get past the first, second, or third baseman or shortstop, and they still beat the throw to first, and that number matches the other 7 teams. So they've used speed. They've used tremendous, consistent defense. And lastly, their pitching has been tremendous, especially that trio that ends the game for them. I'll tell you, if San Francisco has plans to win this World Series, they better get the lead before the 6th inning.
Well, what did you think? I mean, going in, the Giants have won 2 titles in the past 4 years. What did you think of their chances heading into this into the World Series?
Well, I'm really a fan of the Giants, mainly because their owner is a Canadian and a friend. His name is Jeff Mallett from Victoria, BC, and one of the great things about the organization starts at the top, and it's their chemistry, which I'll touch on in a minute. But I really didn't expect them to go this far this year. I thought they were on maybe the tail end of this great run they've had. But, Stephen, you hear teams who hold the Stanley Cup in the air or the World Series trophy in the air, and they'll say, we've got great chemistry, our clubhouse gets along, that's why we win. I personally don't buy into that in pro sports. I think winning breeds chemistry. But this is a unique case. If you took the San Francisco Giants lineup and put it, say, next to even the Toronto Blue Jays lineup and went man for man, I'd probably pick more Blue Jays than I would Giants. So therefore, I do conclude that the Giants have a special clubhouse, and it starts at the top. They've got the greatest stadium to play in the major leagues, and their players you can tell in their actions, they want to do this for each other, and every night a different guy seems to take a turn, but yet there's one of those dependable natural leaders sitting behind the plate, and that's their catcher, Buster Posey. First of all, isn't that the greatest name in baseball, Buster Posey? But this guy delivers. I mean, he's rock solid as far as handling the pitching staff. He's got an arm that will really be a challenge for these Kansas City runners to try to swipe bases here and there. And he's just a great clutch hitter and team leader. So that's what's brought San Francisco to this World Series.
So when you're looking at it, player by player, who are you going to be looking at on both teams?
Well, there's been in a lull here because the previous series ended so quickly, and people are into football and everything else. If you're going to tune in tonight, start at the hot corner for both teams. That's third base. Here's a couple of real baseball characters. The Giants have Pablo Sandoval over there. This guy's a power-hitting, switch hitter, clutch hitter, another clubhouse leader like Posey. But the thing you love about him is he doesn't have that prototype Olympian body. He's got a bit of a pudge. His nickname is Kung Fu Panda. That's what his teammates and the San Francisco fans call him, they love him. But don't let his size fool you. He's pretty agile and comes through with some clutch hits. On the Royal side of the equation, you got another guy with a nickname, Mike Moustakas. He's called the Moose. He plays baseball like a moose with a glove. This guy will run over a wall, a person, a bat. It doesn't matter what's in his way. He's got great pride in his defense, and he's going to catch any ball hit near his side, and I think that's contagious, and it carries through their entire defense. So those are the two guys I'd watch the most. I think you'll really find yourself not wanting to turn that TV off.
All right. So can you make a prediction about who's going to walk away with this thing?
Stephen, you just had to do that, didn't you? You had to put me on the record. I think the Royals are the Giants of tomorrow. I think they're a young, up-and-coming team that really is not a flash in the pan. These guys are going to be good and good for a long time, but I think the Giants have a manager, Bruce Bochy, with a couple of World Series rings in his hand. With that experience to bring to the table, it makes me take the Giants. The Giants of today defeating the Giants of tomorrow, and I'm going to say in 6 games. And
with Kansas City playing the kind of baseball it's been playing, it sure is going to be fun to watch.
It sure will.
Tom, it's great to talk as always. Thank you so much.
Great pleasure, Stephen, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon. And I know if I got this wrong, I'll be hearing it about it from you. So.
You definitely will. Thank you, Tom. Take care.
All right, take care.